Welcome to our latest episode of the Vitrina podcast series, LeaderSpeak, where we interview great leaders with very innovative companies that are essentially doing great sort of new work and new products and new services and new innovations inside the entertainment supply chain. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming the Chief Executive Officer of Zixi, Marc Aldrich. Mark, it's a pleasure to have you today speaking to the Vitrina community.
Thank you, Atul. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Fantastic. And your voice is going across to 75,000 leaders across 100 countries who are essentially leaders, experts, and execs in the entertainment supply chain. So
Wow.
again, there'll be a lot of folks who will be very curiously listening to all the innovations that Zixi is doing under your leadership.
Excellent. No pressure.
No pressure. Fantastic. And to get us started, Mark, would be great to sort of talk about your personal journey. I know you've been an expert in this area, with Cisco, AWS,
Yeah.
ThinkAnalytics. Again, all great companies. But if you can walk us through your career journey, and also how did this whole Zixi opportunity came through, and what excited you about this role?
Yeah, definitely. So, I've been a business starter for a lot of my career, and so I was at MCI for about 7 years before I joined Cisco. I was at Cisco for a large part of my career, and after a year of being at Cisco, I started the cable organization with one of the smartest people I've ever worked with before, named Paul Bosco. Fantastic guy. He ran the business unit, and I ran the go-to-market. And we worked together to build the first standards-based cable modem termination system, CMTS, over DOCSIS, which is Data Over Cable Systems Interface Standard. Um, that was an experience for me that was really interesting because it taught me that you could work very closely with an industry and really partner tightly to deliver something that was really needed for the industry. So we partnered closely with the CTOs and cable labs at that time. This is back in the mid 90s to help the launch. And that basically launched the most profitable business in the cable industry's history. And that same platform became a voice delivery platform for them as well. So it was a real success story. And from there at Cisco, I took over the telco business, the media and entertainment business, and I also took over global video for Cisco. And that's when I first learned about studios and content production side of the business because I wasn't in that on the cable side. Of course, everything we did at Cisco was enabled by routing and switching IP packets to deliver voice or video content. So while I was leading the video business at Cisco, I realized that our set-top business was really not that profitable. We had acquired it from Scientific Atlanta in 2007, and I presented a business plan to suggest we got best of the business, and we did this and sold to Technicolor in 2015. And then 2 years later, I was asked by our CTO, Kelly Kramer, if I would partner with Conrad Clemson, who is now the CEO of EdgeBeam, but at the time was a video BU leader. So he and I teamed up to sell the remaining video assets to private equity, which was a $1 billion business, 3,500 employees. We sold it to Cinemedia. Sold it to Premier Funds, and that became Cinemedia.
Wow.
So once that transaction took place, I decided to leave Cisco, and I got a call from AWS asking me to build their media and entertainment business. So in 2019, I went there, took over a team of 12 people, and built that organization to about 250 globally in 3 years. This is where I met Zixi because Zixi was an OEM partner of AWS's through their Elemental business. And Zixi at the time delivered and still does the under the hood tech for Media Connect. And so I was there for 5 years, fantastic experience. Left for a very short period of time with the ThinkAnalytics to learn about metadata. That didn't work out. And this opportunity with Zixi came along when Clearhaven purchased Zixi in June of last year. And so in the September, October timeframe, started to talk to Clearhaven, and it looked to be a perfect fit. And I'm thrilled to be a part of the company because I think that certainly the experience I've had in the IP world, IP networking, and cloud technology is directly applicable to Zixi's tech and opportunity and future growth trajectory.
That's actually, yeah, I can totally see that. That particular fit is so beautiful from your career history. I have a little bit of a background with Cisco Ventures. They try to by my last company.
Oh, really?
We can talk about that offline. But again, great companies, both Cisco and AWS, and then again. Zixi is doing some very innovative work, especially as the industry is changing so rapidly
Mhm.
in certain aspects of the ecosystem. So, shifting gears a little bit, Mark, if you can talk a little bit about Zixi and what's the elevator pitch? Where does it exactly fit in within the entertainment supply chain? Again, there are some aspects that are very well known about Zixi, but I'm sure there are a host of aspects that are under the hood or are just coming out or might be on the roadmap. If you can talk a
Well,
little bit about that.
yeah, sure. So I'll give you a high level, and then as we get into the conversation, I could talk more about the specific tech
Okay.
and why it's important. But for at a high level, Zixi provides Emmy award-winning software solutions for delivering broadcast quality video over any IP network with unmatched reliability and cost efficiency. And we've been trusted by leading broadcasters and sports leagues for over 15 years. Our solutions support multiple live IP video workflows, including content contribution, satellite replacement or augmentation, B2B distribution, and D2C enablement. Our platform offers advanced automation, management, and security features like end-to-end encryption and blackout control. It ensures cost predictability, operational efficiencies, provides up to 4 nines reliability with patented hitless frame accurate failover technology, and it makes Zixi ideal for high profile sports broadcasts and 24/7 live channels, live linear channels. And in summary, we deliver live broadcast quality video over any IP network, any cloud, any edge device using any protocol. And so that's at a high level what we do. Our role, I think our role in the media ecosystem is as a technology enabler. I view us as kind of the lubrication in terms of how video flows in a very secure and high quality way. There's no question to whether the media and entertainment industry is moving to digital and IP. It's happening. And I think we're an important catalyst and ingredient to enable this to happen in an elegant and an accelerated fashion as possible. And based on the customers that we have, I think we have a lot of proof points to demonstrate that.
Fascinating, fascinating. And again, this space is actually seeing a fair amount of action as the streaming business itself gets very global, and there's a lot of video content that's crisscrossing continents and territories. If you can, I think the one aspect that I was curious about was also what kind of customers are you onboarding today? If you can talk a little bit about your recent customer wins, and also any recent innovations that have happened through the Zixi platform.
So let's talk about the innovations first, and I can back it into the customers.
Sure.
And there's three big areas that we've come out with over the last, I would say, the last 6 to 10 months.
Mm.
Um, and there are feature enhancements that we've made available to customers. And the categories are ESNI, POISE, and ESAM. And I'll describe what those are. So ESNI is Event Scheduling and Notification Interface, or it's a standard SCUDY 224 standard. And what that allows us to do is market switching. So it enables precise content switching based on schedule rules, which is critical for regional market specific broadcast delivery like NFL football games or Premier League soccer. And our differentiator is our client executes a seamless stream switching in the IP domain, which enhances dynamic content control in a live IP video work environment. So the
Mm.
workflows. We align to the SCUDY 224 specifications, ensuring compatibility with industry standards and signaling protocols. And the customer benefits, it supports regionalization, blackout enforcement, rights management, and really high accuracy in a high degree of automation. And this also emphasizes some of the areas that we have leadership in the standards-based real-time broadcast orchestration category. So that's ESNI. And then we have something called POISE, which is Placement Opportunity Information Service. And so it's really the decision-making backbone. It acts as a decision engine to define ad content placement opportunities
Wow.
within the stream, personalization and monetization. So tailored content insertion based on predefined opportunities defining ad revenue and viewer engagement. It's also very interoperable, dynamic delivery of content based on market rules and ad avails and signals. And it's incredibly scalable for both OTT workflows and dynamic placement logic. So big business impact here certainly is the facilitation of monetization and for broadcasters and content distributors. So that's Poise, and then ESAM, and these all fit together. So ESAM is Event Signaling and Management API. It's the industry standard by which a stream switching takes place with Poise. It's called Scuddy 35 manipulation. So the decisions are communicated to Zixi broadcasters, which essentially is our software, and we call it our Swiss Army knife because it does all these different features in an IP. So what ESAM does, it provides the orchestration layer. It connects the Zixi broadcaster with decision servers, the Poise and ESNI servers, to control switching of the Scuddy 35 message processing. So that does all those things we talked about. And it has dynamic control, so it can make decisions for blackout enforcement or ad placement on localized content. And it's really core to our intelligent rules-based event execution with our ZenMaster platform, which is our control platform. So basic customers of this are Sky Sports Plus. We're going to do 40,000 live sports events with Sky Sports Plus this year, and also Amazon Prime Video, which we do a number of things with across the board. So,
Wow.
so a lot there. I know I gave you a
That
lot.
is, I was actually going to say that, this is such an exciting area because, consistently over the last 2 or 3 quarters, both Netflix and Prime Video, Amazon, in their sort of quarterly results and investor summaries, they've actually talked about the ad solutions, personalization in a big and detailed way. So this is a very hot category. They're talking about expanding their entire sort of advertising business across multiple countries. So you are in a very exciting space, actually, Mark. I mean, just from a timing perspective, and are all this entire stack, is it sort of going through a lot of transformation very rapidly in the last few days?
Well, so from an industry perspective, I mean, there's a lot happening from a transformation perspective. Certainly, in monetization space, it's been very hot. Actually, I was touching on this a lot in ThinkAnalytics on the on metadata side. But what we're providing really is the capabilities for the content providers to do the things that we talked about. And frankly, we really haven't pushed into the monetization space hugely, but that's an area of opportunity for us. What we've done to date is enable fast channels, through companies like Whirl and Amagi, so as partners of ours. But what some of the trends that I see happening in the business right now, Atul, and the biggest one I have to say is what's happened recently in July 4th. So the US government passed the Big Beautiful Bill, and that Big Beautiful Bill has a directive inside of it for the FCC to conduct a competitive auction within 2 years, so July of 2027, to auction off 100 megahertz of the remaining C-band spectrum in the US by 2027.
Wow.
So this has been a conversation. I would tell you that we had a lot of conversations about this at NAB. When the notice of inquiry came out in February, it kind of started the ball rolling. But I don't think anybody in the industry anticipated it happening as fast as it has. And frankly, some of the customers that we've been talking to are just learning of this right now. So here's what I'll tell you. So you asked me about the trends. This to me is maybe the seismic shift in the industry that people anticipated potentially coming, but I don't know that anybody thought it would happen this fast. But what I talked about in the beginning is this: there's not a question of whether the industry is going towards IP. It's absolutely going to IP. And this component from a distribution perspective on the satellite side is a huge component of that. So what does it mean to us? So we're actively engaged in the FCC's notice of inquiry, that process. We've submitted ex parte briefings. So what the ex parte briefings are public documents that basically share details about what our capabilities are to facilitate helping the industry to this transition. So what I'll share with you is the Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, or NPRM, is expected in the fall. So based on this ruling, there's going to be this, okay, what happens next to set up for this auction, but what are the things that are going to be taken into account? Because, Congress will be, FCC is going to be considering this, looking at it, and determining how best to move forward. What I would tell you about our ability in this space is we have a lot of capabilities, and I'll share a couple of them. key capabilities, multipath redundancy. So we have really last mile redundancy using blended LEO and 5G terrestrial internet connectivity, advanced switching functionality. We have a lot of flexible deployment with the existing partner base that we have, over 400 partners where they have Zixi enabled and the IRDs at the last mile. So that's something that's very important. Centralized orchestration and monitoring through ZenMaster, a single pane of glass to orchestrate all the telemetry and performance analytics. And then what I haven't talked about much, but we have the lowest total cost of ownership from all the aspects that exist for delivering these signals. Zixi Stream, our platform, is the lowest total cost of ownership to do that.
Wow, fascinating. This is pretty exciting. I mean, I hadn't realized about the Big Beautiful Bill having this
You're
aspect.
not the only one, and I'm hoping that this broadcast does give a lot of people that insight, because frankly, I'm a little surprised that there's not a more well understood in terms of, because it just happened, right? It's July 4th. I mean, what are we, July 18th? So it happened
That's
2 weeks ago.
right.
So I think it's trickling out through the industry, but certainly there's going to be a lot of urgency around this. So
Fascinating. One aspect that I was actually wanting to go back to was the customer base. Can you talk a little bit about the customer base as well? Because again, uh, uh, there is a sort of traditional and historical context to Zixi's customer base, and then again, the world is changing very rapidly in the last 5 years with streaming fast,
yeah,
OTT, AVOD, and so on. And I just want to sort of understand how that is changing for Zixi.
well, I think this industry is very interconnected. So we have customers like TV station groups like Nexstar and Sinclair, and we have Gray Media, we have Paramount Global, we have Fox as broadcasters, we have Fubo as a virtual MPVD, Prime as a virtual MPVD, YouTube TV as a virtual MPVD. So we carry the kind of the range and gamut. We have Sky Sports Plus. Comcast is a customer of ours. So you go down the range of different areas, and all these individual entities are connected as well, because content traverses through all of these different mediums at different times, depending on what that supply chain looks like. Zixi is a, and I think I said this in the beginning, we're a conduit to enable that trust boundary across each of those entities go forward. And I didn't come up with the trust boundary term. One of our customers did, said, when the Zixi checks the quality of the video as it goes through each connecting point, we view that as our trust boundary. So we adopted that because it is a trust boundary, and it's something that our customers can depend on in terms of the quality of the video that's going through the networks.
That is fascinating. And again, it's such a diverse sort of customer base. And then, from a requirements perspective of these customers, maybe if you can talk a little bit about how diverse these requirements could be, because I'm sure that what some of the companies that you talked about, like Fubo, for instance, might have a very different requirement
Oh,
vis-a-vis.
so yeah, I think what you're asking me is, so from an interoperability perspective, we deliver 13 different protocols. So we have a protocol ourselves, which we think is the best protocol to deliver video, bar none. That said, the industry has a lot of different protocols they work with, whether it's RIS, RTP, or it's HLS, STP, or Zixi. We translate all those and we deliver those to the standards that our customers expect.
Interesting. And this is where the interoperability sort of comes in as well, in a way.
Yep. And well, let's talk about interoperability, but also tech differentiation. So
Right.
some of the Zixi tech differentiation. So, we talked about the transition that's happening. And I would say one of the key reasons why we're well suited to be an enabler or a facilitator as the industry continues to transition to IP, particularly with this latest decision by the FCC.
Hmm.
Before I talk about our differentiation, let's talk about the challenges of this massive transition, some of the things that the FCC has to consider. So once satellite distribution is gone, physical redundancy deficit has happened. So many stations have only one terrestrial duct. So the actual physical duct going into the TV station um, could be multiple ISPs on one duct. If that gets cut, you have a total outage. So C-band previously acted as a safeguard against this. That goes away with C-band going away.
Hmm.
Rural bandwidth constraints. So you have limited throughput and high costs in rural areas for HD and UHD delivery. So the infrastructure upgrades are very costly and also very slow. And then you have policy risk, right? So the service degradation undermines the FCC goals of universal access, resilient infrastructure, and competitive fairness. So we, as a company, I think have differentiated solutions to solve a lot of these problems, which is why we're very active in the notice of inquiry process.
Hmm.
So what we're proposing is a software-defined multipath bonding strategy, which basically combines LEO, low orbiting satellites, and geo satellite terrestrial IP bonding to link those things together. So get back to your differentiation point of that. So Zixi's multipath bonding solution solves these problems because we give dual path bonding. So multiple independent links, whether it's satellite, fiber, ISP, 5G, uh, from a single resilient stream, we bond those together. Up to 30 different ISPs we can bond together across these medium. And it's basically a standards-based architecture using SMPTE 2022-7 for hitless switching. So no dropouts, uses RTP encapsulation for broadcast infrastructure compatibility. And then what Zixi has and has always had is our protocol itself, which does forward error correction, so corrects packets that have corruption in transit. ARQ resends lost packets and bidirectional paths, and then we do null packet suppression. What that means is we take all the zeros and ones that aren't needed out before they get transmitted and put them back in at the other side.
Hmm.
This saves millions of dollars in compute and egress costs in the cloud. And it also is a much more efficient way of delivering the video. So you get a higher quality, higher security.
That's fascinating. And again, the one aspect that I then wanted to sort of go into a little deeper was just trends in this space right now, right? So trends in IP based video delivery and broadcast transformation. Also, if you can talk a little bit about how this entire area is transforming from a competitive landscape perspective. Is there more consolidation? From your vantage point, how you seeing your industry sort of shift in recent days?
Well, you've seen, I think, I just read this week that uh, the streaming far surpassed broadcast viewership
Right.
over the past few months. And so there's no question that viewer habits have changed. And so when you talk about streaming, you're talking about the need for profitability. Many of the streamers are still working towards getting that profitable,
That's right.
distribution of video, getting fresh content, newer content, doing that in an efficient way, personalization, monetization, all those things in terms of, they're getting the eyeballs now to make sure that you personalize those that content to the user.
Hmm.
There's going to be more and more personalization. And then how do you take that personalization and monetize it in a way that is acceptable to the users as well? I mean, I thought about this for a long time when I was really digging into the advertising side. If you do targeted advertising, if you do it the right way, it actually is content because the receiver and the user wants to hear the information because it's information that's important to them. And so I think that's where the industry is attempting to get to.
Hmm.
And as the industry moves to IP, it gives much more agility, much more scale, and it improves the bandwidth availability as well. So, frankly, there's a lot of 4K TVs that exist around the globe today, and there's not really the ability to deliver 4K content from one end to the other. So it may go in and be recorded in 4K, but by the time it gets to the TV, it's not 4K anymore. So the move to IP, and part of that's because of the 5G repack that happened in 23 when the first sale of C-band happened. that was 60%, sorry, 60% of the C-band spectrum got sold. So they had to repack all the bandwidth together, and there's not enough bandwidth to deliver this consistently from a 4K perspective. So why do I tell you that? I tell you that because some of it creates issues when you move away from the C-band spectrum, but also creates opportunity. And as the industry continues to move to IP, there is an opportunity to improve the quality, the agility, cost, and a lot of benefits that go along with it. So I see all these things are connected because all the personalization trends, the profitability trends, all those things are tied to delivering content in a more efficient manner. And I think we have a lot of the tech that's an enabler to make that happen in an elegant fashion.
Fascinating. I, one, I mean, you obviously sort of talked a lot about the US market. Are there specific sort of other markets that Zixi is excited about? How do you sort of see, expansion from a geographical perspective? Is that on the cards? That'd be great to understand.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of M&E customers and opportunities around the globe. We have a team in Europe today. We have a team in Asia. We have a team in South America. And so I see the biggest transformation happening here in the U.S. today in terms of IP enablement, but I also see tremendous opportunity overseas. And I would tell you that we're doing a lot of work with partners. As I mentioned, we have 400 partners, but we've really, since I've gotten here, really focused on a number of go-to-market partners um, like Uplink, like Amagi, and a number of others that we're talking to help facilitate that geographic expansion as well. And as much as we can in market, we work with different partners.
Understood. Understood. And then, Mark, any sort of latest use cases from live events, fast, OTT? Again, all of these aspects you referenced, but some of these use cases could be really useful for some of our listeners to understand. How those are getting implemented.
So, yeah, well, there's a number of them, but I would tell you that live event contribution, as I mentioned with Sky Sports Plus, we're doing a lot of that where we're actually, enabling the signal to get into the network and out in a high quality manner. We do meet me rooms, cloud meet me rooms for both the NHL and Major League Baseball, where they take all of their games and make them available to all of their licensees, the people that have rights to their content to distribute so that they can distribute them out. We're doing fiber replacement, global fiber replacement for a number of companies around the globe. I'm not going to say who right now because we haven't announced those from a press perspective, but the ability to leverage the internet at scale with observability using Zixi technology is a really um, compelling business case, use case for many companies that have fiber networks where they don't have any visibility and they're very expensive.
Fascinating. That's yeah. We'll watch that space for more information as it comes out. Mark, one aspect. I mean, Amagi is a very sort of high profile member for us at Vitrina. Would be great if you can talk a little bit about your relationship with Amagi. Again, they are very familiar in the fast and AVOD space. So there'll be folks who'll really want to understand how that relationship has evolved and what are the places where you partner with Amagi.
Yeah. So I think the emerging opportunity for Amagi and Zixi, and what we're talking about is the satellite augmentation space, and that's today that's an emerging opportunity, and I think we both look at that and believe that we have a lot of opportunity to work together there. We partner very closely on Sinclair, where they're delivering all aspects of the Sinclair signal around and connecting to with AWS in the cloud. So we're a big part of that. Um, and we help present the fast channels to Amagi, and they just distribute them in their playout system. So we do that today, as I mentioned, and we do that with Whirl as well. So I would tell you that I'm extremely excited about the relationship we have with Amagi. It's kind of a restart of the relationship since I got here. I know a lot of the folks over there very, very well, and I'm very excited to work with Srini, Dan, Paul, and the entire team over there because I think we have a tremendous amount of opportunity in front of us.
Thanks for that background. Again, that actually helps a host of folks understand really how you sort of working with the ecosystem. Mark, you very quickly coming up to your anniversary, your first anniversary with Zixi. As you sort of look at the next few months and 2026, would be great to understand. What are the things that are exciting, as a leader, and then what are the roadmap items that you can actually share with us.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for asking that. I'll tell you a couple things. So when I first got here, um, I talked to a lot of customers and a lot of partners, and what I heard for feedback was, "We love Zixi's technology." That was the first thing. The second thing they said is, "We don't know all the places where Zixi plays because, as we talked about today, we play in a lot of different areas. We have a lot of capabilities." But the third thing I heard was, "We don't like the commercial model that you have. We don't, it's confusing. We have per gigabit pricing, and we don't understand how it fits into our business model." So I made a lot of changes when I got here relative to two things. One, embrace the things that we do really well. Two, proliferate the things that we do really well that people don't know about. So understand all the use cases that our customers and our partners are taking advantage of and make those available, whether it's through a podcast like this or interactions with customers, and just talk about those things. And then I'll say a third thing was, I changed the commercial model so that we had a very flexible set of commercial offers that map to the customer business outcomes, whether it's per channel pricing, per stream pricing, per event pricing,
Mm.
per hour pricing. There was a lot of things that we weren't doing from a flexibility perspective that were hard to translate back into the customer's business model. And the feedback that I've gotten thus far is that with this new pricing methodology, customers and partners are both very um, happy, but now they know exactly what that means to them in terms of how they're trying to price something out, what it means from a scale perspective, if it's a part of the same type of thing. So I would say that is the stuff that we've done to put us on the trajectory where we are in the last 10 months. What's coming up? I will tell you what some of the feature and functionality that we're announcing in IBC. So we previewed some of this stuff at NAB, but now it's something that's going to be ready when we get to IBC. So zero latency frame thinning. So this is something that's exciting because it enables smooth streaming over congested networks by intelligently removing frames from the stream without violating the transport stream standard. So you think about what we talked about in terms of satellite going away, and you talk about rural areas. You're sending streams, you're sending a video, or it's a live event, and the ability to be able to. I think Zixi works really well when other things don't work really well. So our technology allows the content to be delivered in a really high quality fashion, even when the environment is not high quality. Second thing is a modern user. Basically, we're going to put a new user interface on the Zixi broadcaster, so GUI, which people have been asking for a while. So I'm glad we're doing that. We have a new mobile application. So basically, turning your phone into a Zixi-enabled camera and encoder. So the ability with bonding capabilities and ZenMaster integration. So the ability to have it orchestrated. So whether it's a news broadcaster or somebody at a live sporting event, the ability to use that phone as a kind of a camera and encoder that is 65 is pretty exciting and something that we're excited about.
Fascinating. That it sounds like you're going to have a very exciting IBC with a lot of these announcements and rollouts.
Yeah, we got a couple more coming too. So I won't share all of them, but
Okay,
let's just say that there's going to be a number of new features and functionality that I think will be exciting for our customers and our partners.
fantastic. And that a lot of these are essentially sort of tailwinds for 2026 and Zixi's performance in that year.
Yes, I certainly hope so. And I've been really pleased with the response from the market, from our customers, and I'm excited about what's in front of us. And I'm really excited to go to IBC and see everybody.
Fantastic. Mark, this has been a very, very exciting conversation. I think, we've covered a lot of ground, especially the space, the big, beautiful bill. I think that was a surprise. I didn't see that coming, as a key sort of trigger for a lot of downstream consequences. And then you sort of been very transparent about, Zixi's plans and some of the aspects that you're sort of changing, including the business model itself and the pricing. Thank you so much for talking to us. This has been a very, very exciting conversation.
Atul, it's been my pleasure. And anytime, I'll be happy to do it any other time. And just want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Thank you.
All right.